There is a moment almost every parent secretly dreads. The face turns red, the eyes fill with tears, the little body tenses, and then it explodes. Hitting, screaming, kicking the air, saying things that cut deeper than any adult insult. It looks like pure anger. It feels like defiance. And inside, a quiet voice whispers, "What if this child is becoming a monster, and it is all because of me?" This thought may never be said out loud, but it sits there, in the background of long days and even longer nights. The question behind it is simple and terrifying. What is wrong with this child? Underneath that, hidden even deeper, lives a second question. What is wrong with this parent? The truth is uncomfortable, but also strangely comforting. What is often called anger in a child is very rarely just anger. It is something older, softer, more fragile. It is fear in disguise. Fear of losing connection. Fear of not being seen. Fear of not being safe in a world that is too big, too loud, and too fast for a nervous system that is still learning how to exist. When a child explodes, the adult brain sees a challenge, a test, a power struggle. But the child's body is not planning a negotiation. It is sounding an alarm. The heartbeat races. The breathing becomes shallow. The muscles prepare to fight or to run. The child is not thinking about winning against a parent. The child is trying not to drown in a feeling that seems too large to survive. Imagine, for a moment, a storm inside a very small house. The walls shake. The windows rattle. The power cuts. The house does not have the tools of a big building. No reinforced structure. No complex systems. Only thin walls and fragile glass. This is the child's nervous system when big emotions arrive. The storm is not evil. The house is not broken. It is simply not ready to handle so much, so fast, alone. Now notice what usually happens in real life. The child screams, throws, hits. The adult, shocked or embarrassed, tenses up too. The voice rises. The jaw closes. The eyes harden. The adult's nervous system also enters a storm. Two storms now. One outside, one inside. One in a small body learning life. One in a bigger body carrying years of exhaustion, pressure, and unhealed memories. In that moment, it is easy to forget one essential truth. One of these storms is still a child looking for a lighthouse. Anger is often described as a secondary emotion. Underneath it, something more delicate usually hides: sadness, helplessness, shame, or fear. For a child, fear is especially powerful. Fear of separation when a parent leaves for work. Fear of losing a toy that seems like the entire world in that instant. Fear of being replaced by a sibling. Fear of punishment. Fear of being too much or not enough. Fear that love can disappear without warning. But children do not say. Right now there is a deep sense of existential fear rising inside this small body, and it is overwhelming. They throw a shoe. They slam a door. They shout, "I hate you," when the truth inside sounds more like, "I am terrified that I could lose you." This is where the misunderstanding begins. The parent hears the words and sees the behavior, not the fear beneath it. The words feel like knives. The behavior feels like attack. The brain, trained by its own past, may switch to defense mode. This child is disrespectful. This child must learn a lesson. This behavior must be stopped now. The focus moves from connection to control. But what happens when fear meets control without understanding? The child learns that the storm inside is not welcome. That big emotions must be hidden, swallowed, or turned into something louder just to get a reaction. Over time, anger grows, not because the child is broken, but because the fear never felt truly held. It is easy to forget how small the world once felt, how towering adults seemed, how final their words sounded. A simple no could feel like the end of everything. A delayed response could feel like abandonment. A distracted gaze could feel like rejection. For a grown nervous system, these moments are tolerable. For a nervous system still under construction, they can feel like mini earthquakes. There is another layer to this: the parent's own history. Many adults grew up in homes where anger was either forbidden or everywhere. In some houses, any raised voice meant danger. In others, yelling was normal and tenderness was rare. When a child's anger appears, it does not just activate concern about the present. It wakes up ghosts from the past. The parent is no longer just looking at a child in front of them. The parent is also reliving their own childhood from inside. If anger in adults once meant violence, rejection, or humiliation, then a child's angry outburst will feel like a direct threat, even if the child weighs only a few kilos and has no real power. The body of the parent remembers. The heart closes to protect itself. The reaction becomes bigger than the situation demands, not because the parent is cruel, but because the past has entered the room unnoticed. Now there are two fears: the child's fear of losing the parent's love, and the parent's fear of recreating a painful childhood. When these fears dance together without awareness, the house feels unsafe for everyone inside. So what can be done? If a child's anger is often fear in disguise, what is the parent invited to do in those most difficult moments? The first step is internal, silent, and invisible. It is a single thought held gently in the mind. This is fear. This is not war. Repeating this phrase inside changes the way the nervous system of the adult responds. The shoulders drop a little. The breath becomes a bit deeper. The reaction slows down by a fraction of a second. In that fraction, a different choice becomes possible. Instead of "how do I stop this behavior right now?" another question appears. What is this child's fear trying to protect? Sometimes the answer will appear clearly. A child screaming when the parent leaves the room may be protecting attachment. A child throwing objects when asked to stop playing may be protecting a sense of control in a life where almost everything is decided by others. A child yelling at bedtime may be protecting safety in the darkness of separation. Other times, the answer will not be clear, and that is all right. The goal is not to become a perfect decoder of every behavior. The goal is to shift from enemy to ally, from judge to translator, from "stop this" to "something inside is too big right now." It is allowed to exist, and it will not break this relationship. The second step is external, but still simple. It is the tone. Children read tone faster than words. A soft but firm voice that says, "This is hard," can reach a child more deeply than a long speech about respect. Naming the difficulty does not mean agreeing with every action. It means recognizing the storm without abandoning the house. Simple sentences can hold space for fear disguised as anger. This feels really big right now. The body is trying to protect something. The feeling is not bad, even if the way it is coming out is not safe. These statements separate the child's identity from the behavior. They say, "You are not bad. You are overwhelmed," and overwhelmed states can be guided. None of this means letting everything happen without boundaries. A small body in a big storm can still hurt others. Limits are still love when offered without humiliation. A calm hitting is not safe. These hands can be angry, but they cannot hurt, while gently containing the movement is different from "What is wrong with you? Why are you like this?" One response speaks to the behavior. The other speaks to the core of the child's identity. The third step is repair. No parent responds well all the time. There will be days when fear meets fear, anger meets anger, and words are said that scratch the heart of both child and adult. Repair is not about pretending it never happened. It is about returning to the moment later, when the storm has passed, and naming what truly happened. A simple, honest reflection can change the story inside the child's memory. Earlier, there was a lot of anger in this house. Some of it was yours. Some of it was mine. Underneath, there was a lot of fear. Fear of not being heard. Fear of not being enough. That fear made both of us say and do things that did not feel good. It does not mean love disappeared. It means we both need help when feelings get too big. Hearing this, even once in a while, teaches the child two quiet but powerful messages. First, big emotions are survivable. Second, relationships can bend without breaking. Over time, when a child's anger is consistently met with a combination of firm boundaries and gentle curiosity, something shifts. The storm still comes, but it comes with less lightning and more rain. The child starts to use words slightly earlier. The body softens slightly faster. The nervous system learns, from repeated experience, that anger does not end in abandonment or shame. It ends in understanding and safety, even if consequences still exist. And something else shifts too. The parent begins to see their own anger differently. The moments of explosion are no longer proof of failure, but invitations to look inward. What fear is hiding under this reaction? Fear of losing control? Fear of being seen as a bad parent? Fear of becoming my own mother or father? These questions are not accusations. They are doorways. Walking through them slowly, patiently, without self-hatred, is a kind of parenting too. Parenting the inner child that never had space for its own storms. The transformation does not happen in a single conversation or one magical technique. It grows in the ordinary, in the repetition, in the imperfect attempts to pause for one breath before responding, in the choice to see fear where others only see defiance. A child who learns that anger is allowed to be explored, not punished into silence, becomes an adult who does not need to bury emotions until they erupt uncontrollably. A parent who learns that their own anger hides fear and pain becomes an adult who can offer what they never received, presence in the middle of the flood. So when the next storm rises, and the tiny fists clench and the tears spill and the scream echoes against the walls, remember this: the house is small, the storm feels huge, but there is nothing wrong with the sky. Underneath the thunder, there is a simple, trembling question asking to be heard. Is it safe to be all of me here? Even this part. Anger is one of the ways that question speaks. Fear is one of the reasons it speaks so loudly. And every time that fear is met with steadiness instead of war, the message that stays inside the child is not, "I am a problem." It is, "I am held, even when I am hard to hold." In the end, the goal is not a child who never feels anger. It is a child who knows that anger does not mean love is gone. It is a parent who knows that fear, in both small bodies and big ones, does not need to be disguised as rage to be taken seriously. It can be named, it can be softened, it can be shared. And when that happens, little by little, the explosions become conversations, the storms become signals, and what once looked like defiance begins to reveal its true face. A scared nervous system asking for someone steady enough to see beyond the fire. At some point, every parent will face that storm again, the shaking voice, the slammed door, the eyes filled with fire. In that moment, this question can quietly rise inside. Is this anger, or is this fear asking not to be left alone? Just holding that possibility already changes everything. It turns punishment into guidance. It turns an enemy into a frightened nervous system, reaching out the only way it knows. If there is a wish to keep seeing children's behavior this way, not as a list of problems, but as hidden messages from a scared inner world, staying close to this space can help. New videos here go deeper into these silent patterns between small eyes and tired hearts, so that both can be understood instead of judged. If this message resonates, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video so it can reach another parent staring at a closed bedroom door, wondering what went wrong. And if there is a story or question about anger and fear in a child's life, leaving it in the comments may turn that pain into a map for future episodes. Behind the little eyes, nothing is random, and almost nothing is truly hate. Most of it is fear, longing, and love tangled up. Learning to see that is not just parenting. It is healing for the child who is growing now, and for the child who once lived, unheard, inside the adult watching this screen.